The transport shuttle shook as it entered the misty upper layers of the alien world sky. Mark braced himself and tightened the straps on his seat. He had been dispatched as part of a quiet relief mission to study strange distress signals coming from deep within this forest planet. No escort, no military team. Just one cautious human with emergency training. He had accepted without hesitation. Curiosity ran through him with the steady pull of a tide. He had seen worlds where no known life had moved, and others where oceans drifted with luminous creatures. This planet, however, carried something different in its air. A quiet hum seemed to vibrate within the wind. It made him feel watched. Still, he trusted his instincts. He always had. He guided the shuttle down through a narrow clearing. Trees stood like tall spires, coated with silver bark that shimmered as though touched by starlight. He stepped out and looked around. His boots sank slightly into soil that felt warm to the touch. He swept his scanner over the ground. The distress signal had been sent only hours earlier. Human translation software had barely recognized its structure. Whoever called for help had been desperate. Mark moved carefully through foliage that rustled without visible wind. He carried no weapons, only a small field lantern, a thin medical kit, a translator disc. He inhaled the air. It carried a floral scent stronger than anything he had known. He walked deeper until the trees parted around a broken transport capsule. It lay half swallowed by vines. He approached slowly. A soft sound reached him. A cry. High-pitched, trembling. His heart quickened. The capsule door had been twisted out of shape. Something inside shifted. He raised his lantern and peered through the bent frame. A small figure huddled in the corner. Silver symbols glowed faintly across its skin. Its eyes grew wide when the light touched it. Fear poured from its trembling body. Mark knelt and spoke gently. The child did not move. He set the lantern down and placed his hands on the edge of the door. Metal groaned as he pushed it open enough to create a gap wide enough for passage. He extended his hand in silence. The child hesitated. It reached out slowly. Its fingers were small and thin. When they brushed his palm, its skin felt cool and soft. Trust flowed between them. Mark guided the child out of the wreck. It clung to his sleeve. He checked for injuries and found a deep gash running along its side. He pulled a small vial from his kit and activated the healing spray. It fizzed gently. The child winced, then relaxed. Not a deep rumble echoed across the forest. Not from engines. From the ground itself. The child looked toward the sound and uttered a short word. His translator flickered. The word meant danger. Something was searching. Something big. Mark lifted the child carefully and moved toward his shuttle. Trees swayed. The rumble grew louder. He could feel vibrations rising through his legs. He quickened his pace. The child buried its face against his chest. A roar split the air. Birds burst from the canopy. A large beast lumbered between the trees. Its hide gleamed like hammered stone. Its massive jaw opened with a sound that rattled the leaves. Mark sprinted. The beast charged. The shuttle came into view. He surged forward and raced up the ramp. The beast slammed into the hull as the doors closed. The impact shook the cabin. The child cried, but clung to him tightly. Mark launched the shuttle upward. The beast roared again, but the sound faded as he climbed into the sky. The child watched him with eyes full of confusion and gratitude. The translator processed another faint whisper. The words formed a phrase. "Thank you." He nodded and offered a reassuring smile. He had rescued children before. Human ones. Those rescues had shaped his life. He had always believed that saving one life outweighed the weight of any danger. His console blinked. A large ship approached, sleek, curved like a crescent of molten glass. He received a transmission. A female voice filled the cabin. It carried authority and urgency. "Bring the young one aboard." "Now." Mark hesitated. He looked at the child. It nodded weakly. He steered toward the docking channel. The alien craft opened like a great flower of metal dot. The moment he stepped inside, he felt eyes upon him. Guards with tall helms stood in perfect formation. Their armor shifted with iridescent color. They carried long spears that hummed faintly with energy. Behind them stood a tall figure draped in flowing patterns of emerald and silver. Her voice held an echo that traveled like layered tones. She stepped forward with measured grace. This was their queen. Her gaze swept across Mark and settled on the child in his arms. She extended her hand. The child reached toward her. Relief washed across the queen's face. She spoke softly, but the translator caught every word. "You sheltered my young. You carried safety where terror had tried to take hold. For this, your presence is honored." Mark bowed politely. "I only did what anyone should do. Protect those in need." The queen studied him with intensity. Her eyes contained a depth that lacked hostility, yet radiated absolute command. She gestured, and the guards stepped aside. "Follow." She guided him down a corridor that pulsed with pale blue light. The walls felt organic, almost alive. Mark sensed energy weaving through them. They entered a chamber filled with drifting holograms of distant star regions. The queen dismissed her guards. She turned to him. "Our young are the future of our line. Few would risk themselves for one lost among beasts. You did more. You offered protection without demand, without fear. Such actions shape destiny." Mark shifted uncomfortably. "I should return to my ship. My mission is complete." The queen's expression hardened. "You will not depart." The words struck him like a sudden gale. He straightened. "May I ask why?" The queen stepped closer. Her presence filled the chamber with silent weight. "The young one marked you. By our customs, the one who rescues a royal young becomes bound to the throne until release is granted. No release will be granted. You remain." Mark felt the world tilt around him. "That is not how humans operate. I respect your customs, but I have duties elsewhere." The queen raised her hand. The air shimmered. The chamber sealed. "You do not understand. Your action was seen. Not just by me, by our council, by the spirits of our line. You touched the fate of our people. You cannot walk away." Mark felt frustration swell, but he stayed calm. "I refuse captivity." The queen's eyes narrowed. "Captivity is not what you face. You face responsibility." Before he could answer, the chamber vibrated. Alarms pulsed in the distance. A guard rushed inside. "A hostile fleet approaches." The queen turned sharply. "Prepare the shields." She looked at Mark. "Come." He followed her to the command hall. Transparent windows opened to reveal the sky outside. Dozens of dark ships descended. Their shapes resembled hooked talons. Mark recognized them from old human records. Raiders, nomadic marauders, known for scorched world tactics. The queen issued orders with swift precision. Her fleet moved into formation. Mark watched closely. Their technology was advanced and elegant, but their battle doctrine appeared defensive. Raiders thrived against defensive formations. He stepped forward. "You need to shift to breaking formation. Push their flanks. They rely on intimidation. Their lines collapse under pressure." The queen glanced at him. "You know their ways." Mark nodded. "Humans studied them long ago. You must strike first. Hold nothing back." The queen considered his words, then signaled her commanders. They listened. The formation shifted. Their ships surged like blades through the sky. The battle ignited. Light flashed across the horizon. Mark watched their strategy unfold. The alien fleet used precision strikes to disrupt the raider vanguard. For a moment, the Queen's forces held advantage. Then a massive raider carrier appeared. Its cannons charged. The impact would shatter the alien shields. Mark jumped to a console. He patched into the targeting array. He calculated new trajectories and relayed them. The Queen stared at him, but allowed it. Her fleet responded. Their ships repositioned. 3 vessels converged fire on the raider carrier's weak structural seam. The blast tore through the enemy hull. The carrier imploded. The raiders faltered. Their formation broke. Moments later, they retreated into the void. Silence returned. The alien crew exhaled as one. The Queen turned to Mark. "Your intervention saved us." Again, he shook his head. "I just offered knowledge. Anyone could have." The Queen stepped forward until she stood inches away. "Not anyone. You." She gestured for him to follow once more. They returned to the quiet chamber of drifting stars. She faced him with solemn grace. "You must understand. Our customs bind those who shape the survival of the royal line. You saved the young. You saved our fleet. You shaped the course of our fate. You are part of us now. You will not leave." Mark met her gaze. He did not bow. He did not flinch. "I respect your people. I honor your young. I helped because I could. But I am human. My path does not belong to a throne." The Queen stepped closer with a calm that carried more weight than shouting ever could. "You misunderstand the nature of belonging. This is not chains. This is recognition. You have become a guardian of our future. Such a bond cannot be cast aside." Mark took a deep breath. The air shimmered with tension. "I will not abandon my life." The Queen raised her hand, and the holograms shifted. They displayed dozens of star systems. War-torn, ruined, fractured, our people stand at the edge of collapse. Enemies rise from every corner. Allies fade. Hope dwindles. But your presence ignited something our people have not felt in a long time. Mark looked at the images. Destruction, fragile borders, rising danger. You thin,